Yeah, Kāinga Ora Retrofit project. It's a pretty big one across New Zealand, and there's a massive amount of planning at the start which needed to take place, and a lot of understanding from the historic buildings which had already taken place. The retrofit program for myself has always been about creating a healthy environment for all families of every demographic and size in New Zealand. I always wanted and still want every family to be able to live in a healthy environment, safe place, shelter over their head, regardless of their situation, to make sure that they can thrive and do better and improve themselves. If we take an example of a family, like a real life situation. So let's take some families of different demographics and sizes, say mum, dad, 4 kids, 5 kids, 7 kids, sometimes it's 8 kids, and they've fallen on some hard times and they're all kind of getting together and might have been priced out of their market, out of the rental market. There's nothing available. There's types of things going on currently right now. And these people are pretty ingenious, right? So regardless really of whatever the waiting lists are, what we have is we have these families and all these kids organising themselves into these single houses. And it's overcrowding, right? So the current stock available is not there, so one family gets one of these houses and then 3 families might move into it. Of course, not on paperwork, it's only one family going in there. But they organise themselves in there because, well, they need to have shelter. They do, and that's the most important thing, is to have good shelter over their heads and keep safe. However, what history has shown with some of these builds is when that happens, we start to create a type of environment which isn't, it's not really suitable. It supports the growth of some organic life forms and lets them flourish, like mould and a few other organic life forms. However, it's not the ideal environment for our children to live in. Luckily, the designers who were involved in the retrofit program, they know this, and for the aim to be able to create these warm, dry, healthy, safe homes for our families and children and everyone involved, they had to address this topic, that and ventilation and heating and a few other topics. So this one was quite tricky. This is where we got involved with them, and from the start we said, look, you need to have a professional do a hydrothermal analysis on these for the regions and actually understand what's going to happen and plan for your occupancy to be a lot higher than normal. And that was the tricky part. However, luckily, Clima has been in the country for a little while, and we kind of know that our product, through history, throughout the last 17 years or so that it's been in New Zealand, we know that it works. So we did some modelling and found that, yes, using INTELLO in the walls and where possible across the ceilings as a vapour control layer dramatically reduced the risk of mould growth in these buildings, even when there was high occupancy as well. And that's fantastic for the families involved and for the durability of the buildings as well, because we are maintaining these dry, health, safe environments for these children. So currently now, I think we're up to about 1,000 retrofit houses in New Zealand nationwide. And we do train the installers on site when they ask, and we go on site and show them the fastest, easiest way to really nail these systems out. And it's been great to have these people on board and be willing to learn as well. The main point of this layer is to reduce the chance of mould growth. And the guys involved are all really keen to do that because, well, everyone in New Zealand is kind of used to mould. Everyone shouldn't be. However, now these state houses have got this intelligent vapour control layer. They're more airtight, so not only are they mould-free, they're also more energy efficient as well, so the power bills aren't as high, which is absolutely fantastic. So these families which are moving into the buildings, mum and dad and 7 or 5 kids, they're not having to worry about the kids getting asthma from the mould and spores flying around, or bad health, or power bills which are sucking up all of their money, which they're already short on in some cases. They can actually start working towards better in the future. And for me, that has been just absolutely fantastic to be involved in with Kainga Ora and these houses and builders and the electricians and plumbers, which are all involved in coming together to make sure that these buildings and environments are suitable. They are safe, and they're really nailing it, which is fantastic for New Zealand. I'm absolutely proud and stoked to be part of it.